Stress and anxiety are part of life. But excess stress and anxiety over a period of time have been proven to have negative effects on mental and physical well-being. Welcome to Adventures in Good Health, the place where we discuss natural approaches to good health. I'm your host, David Maloof. Our expert guest today is Suzy Hardy. Suzy is a certified stress management and anxiety coach and a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. Let's jump right in. Hello, Suzy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, David. Pleasure to be here.
Okay, so real quick question. All right, a stress management and anxiety coach. I would love to know what that is and how did you get here?
Yes, I will. I'm going to happily tell you.
Perfect.
They say you should teach what you know, and I have always been a seeker of natural health and well-being. Always, since I was a kid. That's how I was raised. My mom taught me about supplements and herbs and natural healing, and she learned that from her mother. Both my parents were immigrants from Eastern Europe. They always thought that nutrition was very important and that the doctors didn't know everything. I came to find that to be true at a very early age when I started having panic attacks in the third grade. And that was happening for a couple of reasons. I was a highly sensitive kid, but I was undergoing some stressful situations. I was transferring schools. My father had come to me and said, "I'm divorcing your mother." Or sorry, your mother wants to divorce me. And I don't remember that conversation, but there was too much going on. All of a sudden, we went out to dinner as a family. He told me this and we went out to dinner. And I'm sitting there at this table watching my parents be miserable. And my body just went into panic attack. And I was, what are you, in third grade, 7 or 8? And
About 8 years old?
Yeah. And so from there on out, I have dealt with stress, anxiety, general anxiety, depression, burnout, all of the things that our nervous system goes through as we go through life. I studied psychology in college. I was a massage therapist and an energy healer while I was pursuing another passion of mine. I was an actress, professional actress. And I've just always been obsessed with, like, how can I help myself? How can I help my body feel its best, look its best, act its best, live my best life? So for me, I had a very early education into nervous system dysregulation, which is the fancy word for all of the things I just described, anxiety,
nervous
depression,
system
dysregulation. Yeah.
All right.
So that in general, and I love that term, I really do, because I had a lot of shame my whole life around all of my nervous system issues, all of my reactions. I thought they were bad. I thought they were wrong. I would freak out in social situations. and I know I'm not alone. My head would be constantly spinning, overanalyzing. And I knew that, and then that would be juxtaposed with periods of peace and calm and joy, which I wanted to feel more often. And so at this stage of my life, I realized I have a hemp CBD company, which helps keep us healthy naturally. But at this stage of my life, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety again. And I thought, there's other things that I can be doing, not just taking supplements, herbs, which are wonderful, not just meditating, which is, what I teach, but there's other things. It's a mind, body, spirit approach, in my opinion, that's going to help people regulate their nervous system.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor, Dr. Tates, Herbal Tinctures and Tonics. Dr. Tates offers the Herbal Blood Tonic, Doc's Detox, Herbal Male Tonic, Herbal Female Tonic, and the Herbal Fat Burner. If you would like to order your tonics or learn more information, you can go to drtates.online. And if you click the link in the description and enter the special promo code Adventures in Good Health 2024, you will receive 10% off your entire order. For more information, click the links below. And now back to the show. I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Just going back to being an actress, are you talking theater?
All of it.
television,
all of it.
film.
Yeah. So I started in theater.
Okay.
And I did.
I'm just getting anxious just thinking about it. All right. So
Yeah.
but was that an outlet
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a combination too. So the anxiousness that you're feeling, like every actor hates auditioning. It's horrible. It's horrible until you land the job. And you can learn to not be so nervous about it. You get better, you practice, you rehearse, you take classes, you get your confidence. But it's almost like I was putting myself through torture, considering I already had this nervous system that was highly sensitive. But I also loved it. So I was a shy kid. But there was a school play in fourth grade. It was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
And I auditioned for it. It sounded like fun. I was already a dancer. I always loved to perform. So I was already a dancer. And I was a shy kid, but when I got a script and I got someone else, I could to be someone else, I came out of my shell and I loved it. I was hooked. And then so I got the part. I played Violet Beauregard, the one that turns into the blueberry.
Oh, the one who turns into the blueberry. Okay.
Yeah, and I was hooked. And I pursued that when from getting out of college. I mean, I did theater throughout high school and I got a minor in college and I just loved it. So, but again, it was like this self-imposed torture of like, I love it, but the actual act of pursuing it professionally was really challenging and a lot to deal with mentally and a lot of stress and a lot of nervousness and a lot of anxiety and all the things.
I've known people who were in acting. And to some degree, this even applies to certain cosplayers.
Yeah.
Is that getting to step into somebody else's shoes? Mm-hmm. It's a type of outlet, mm-hmm. and I'm not sure I would even call it a therapy, but it was. Yeah. They got a joy from it, and for a period of time, after they got the job, it sounds like it was kind of therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
But
for me also. Sorry, go ahead.
No, because but did you get any permanent type relief?
Permanent type of relief?
Yeah, from acting.
I would say that, you know how an art, like say a painter uses a palette of paints, or a sculptor might use different mediums, clay and metal. And for me, as an artist, I could tap into my emotions. So those were that was my palette. And living out different
Wonderful.
experiences through a different character enabled me to actually therapeutically move through some stuff, to process things, and to just have a lot of fun. Because sometimes it was just fun and silly. Like I did improv. That's not serious. It's just fun and silly. So.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, didn't mean to derail you. I was just curious.
No, not at all. I love talking about all of it.
Okay, so you mentioned that you have a business that's CBD related.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to let you continue on your journey.
Mm-hmm. So I was pursuing acting. I was doing voiceover through my mid to late 30s. I was always an entrepreneur at heart, so I had a side business as a massage therapist and an energy healer. I was professional. I had my own clientele, and then I got married. And my husband also had come we met in Hollywood, and he was also there to produce and write films and produce films. And it wasn't happening the way we wanted to. And the green rush was happening in California. We were in Los Angeles. And he said, hey, how about we get into this space? And I said, absolutely not.
So no, what is the green rush?
Okay, so the marijuana rush.
Okay.
Cannabis has been medically legal in California for over 20 years, but about 7 or 8 years ago, it was becoming more mainstream and going to be recreational and available in shops as it is now, where just anyone over 21 can purchase it. And so we got into that, and then long story short, we decided to go strictly into hemp CBD, which is federally legal. Marijuana as of yet is not. Difference being if I had cannabis plant here and cannabis plant here, A and B, and A had high THC, which is the tetrahydrocannabinol, which makes you high. That's considered marijuana.
Okay.
Plant B has low THC and high CBD cannabidiol, which is not psychoactive, does not make you high. They look the same, they smell the same. The only way you can tell the difference is their chemical, their cannabinoids they produce, the chemical composition. So it's a very interesting industry, but again, I was always interested in natural healing, and CBD helps with homeostasis. We make cannabinoids in our body, so you can never overdose on them. And that includes THC. That's why it's very natural. The worst that happens is you might feel stomach upset, or you're really sleepy. But if you overdose or if you take too much, there's no toxic side effects. You can't die. CBD helps with sleep, appetite, mood, inflammation, pain response, and immune system. So if you have any issues in those 6 sectors, which encompasses a lot, it's going to help your body balance out. Depending upon what you're dealing with, you either want to rub it on or eat it or inhale it. There's different ways of utilizing it. It's a wonderful thing. It helps pets too, helps pets the same. It can help with arthritis. It can help with pain. It can help with anxiety. It helps with a lot of things. It's a wonderful plant. And I've been doing that with my husband for 6 years. And my company is called CBD Fountain. And we
CBD
have
Fountain.
Organic vegan products. Yes, CBDfountain.com.
Well, okay, so I got a bunch of questions.
Shoot.
So if I understand what you're saying, so the hemp, like marijuana is different from the CBD because the marijuana has more of the chemicals that can make you high. Whereas and if I'm using correct or incorrect terminology, go ahead, just stop me.
Okay.
But what you're saying is that the CBD oil is made from a similar plant, but it has very low chemicals that can make you high.
I would say it like this. Picture a petunia plant, okay?
Okay.
And one is purple and one is pink. The same. They're just a little bit different in terms of they're the same plant. And the difference, it's not like one is, this species and this is this species. They're not. They're the same plant. Someone in Europe a while ago decided if it's under 0.3% THC, then it's hemp, and anything above that. And the whole world followed suit. They're like, okay, that sounds like it's just arbitrary.
Okay. It was they set a standard.
Yeah. And everybody followed it. And because it's so it's just marijuana has high THC, low CBD. Hemp, which is federally legal, has high CBD, low THC. And then there's also over 100 other minor cannabinoids that we're just beginning to scratch the surface of that help with other things. For example, CBN helps with sleep. CBC, I believe, helps with inhibiting cancer cells. So there's a lot of research to be done.
If taking CBD, that's not going to make someone high then. So they're taking this for a medicinal purpose, but it's not to get high.
Right. It's not.
Is that a correct statement?
It can make you buzzy if you take a lot. It can make you sleepy if you take a lot, more than your body needs. And that's the hard, if you eat too much. If you rub it on, it's not going to do that. When you eat it, it goes through your stomach, liver, central nervous system, and it affects all of the way it's absorbed is through the nerve cells in our bodies. So if you ever see a CBD product that say, I saw CBD mascara, and I thought, why? What is the point of that? That doesn't touch any of your nerve cells. This is a hoax.
Okay. So I did a little bit of research on this. It's one of the issues that some people have, even with like medical marijuana, where it could very well be legal in a lot of places in the U.S. However, if they work at their place of work, if there's drug testing, they can still get in trouble.
Yes.
And potentially lose their job. I know there's some cases, working their way through the courts. Is CBD oil something that could show up on a workplace drug test? Okay,
so there's not the CBD oil. So basically, there's 3 types of CBD oil, and my husband and I actually not only make products in the past, we have grown our own hemp and extracted it, which is a a lot of work. Now we just make products. Okay. But there's 3 types. So picture it like a vodka distillation. When you first extract the oil, it's dark and sticky, and it's got all of the other cannabinoids, including some of the naturally occurring less than 0.3% THC. If you use a product, if you are a nurse or a pilot or someone who gets drug tested, and you use a product that has CBD, we call it crude oil, that has naturally occurring THC, yes, it is possible that would come up on a drug test, even though you're not getting high. It's similar to, say, someone who gets tested for heroin and they eat too many poppy seeds. I know you have to eat like a lot of pounds of poppy seeds, but it is theoretically true. Then there is what's called a distillate, and then there's what's called an isolate, a CBD isolate, which is pure CBD. All of the other stuff is removed. In my opinion, you would be okay with using the CBD isolate, but to be honest, it is a risk. And if you really like your job, I would just stay away from it, because unfortunately, even though it's federally legal, even though it's wonderful stuff, even though you're not getting high, you don't want to throw your career away. So we offer different products with all 3. We utilize all 3 for different products, but it's, you have to use your best judgment. So you have to also be really aware of what the company is using, what kind of CBD oil they are using.
So is there a industry standard, quality control standard in the CBD industry, or does it run the spectrum?
It runs the spectrum,
from your
David.
observation.
It runs the spectrum, and it's it's by state. Yeah, and it's state by state. Even though it's federally legal, states in the marijuana and the hemp space, the states are really like wrestling with, well, this is what we want for our people, and to me it's silly, because especially with hemp, there's actually, I have to point this out, David, there's a patent from the US government on CBD from the 90s. I think it's 93 or 95. You can look it up. I have it on our website. The Department of Health and Human Services patented CBD for its neurogenerative, neuroprotective, and high antioxidant qualities. It did that so no one else could do it. But when my father's a patent attorney, so when you patent something, it means it's gone through our system. There's enough scientific evidence to prove what you're saying. So the U.S. government has said, this stuff is great. It regenerates nerves. It protects our nerves. Mm-hmm. They even mention things. It's beneficial for ischemic events, meaning stroke, Parkinson's. It's in the patent. High antioxidant. Antioxidants are one of the ways in which our bodies repair itself. We make them and we also eat them from berries and other things. It's in the patent, but there's still this kind of wrestling with like, well, what are we going to do with it? How are we going to regulate? It's crazy. So it's a very beneficial substance. I feel like I strayed off the subject. What was your original question? Sorry. I'm passionate about this stuff.
We were just talking about some of the things that people need to know.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Because I've been even in Georgia, I'll go to certain touristy locations and you'll see CBD sold here and things like that.
Oh, and regulating. That's what you asked me.
So is there like an industry standard in terms of quality control?
No.
Or does it run the range?
No, it runs the range right now. I would not buy it in a gas station.
Okay.
I would not buy it off Amazon. There's a lot of, you're not actually allowed to sell CBD on Amazon. I can't sell my products on Amazon, but there are companies that get around it and they say like 30,000 milligrams of CBD, which is a lot. And that's not true. So you have to do your due diligence. You're welcome to always email us, info@cbdfountain.com. I answer all of the questions personally. I guide people. I'm honest with them. I created all of my products actually to help myself, my friends, my family, and my pets. My first product was my body lotion because I have back pain from being a cheerleader as a teenager. And it works. It helps me. So, and then I created my tincture for my own anxiety. And it does work. It does calm you down. But you'd have to ask a lot of questions.
You certainly do. You see it out there. Mm-hmm. One of the things that, doing a little research is, in the United States, from what I read, at least 10 million people are on prescription medicine just for anxiety. That
seems low to me. I think it would be higher, but yeah.
Well, and it seemed a little low to me, and that was just a sliver, because there were wide range of prescription medications to address other issues that people are experiencing. And that number was from 2020, I think. And they had said it was a 10% increase over 2019, obviously because of COVID and things like that. Is CBD something that is potentially could assist in anxiety? Or is it more the physical areas that it helps?
1000% helps with anxiety. So we go back to homeostasis. Homeostasis is how our body keeps itself balanced. And it has those 6 realms: sleep, appetite, mood. Mood includes anxiety, pain response, inflammation, and immune system. So, there's actually a great nonprofit website called projectcbd.org, and it has a lot of science, and it doesn't sell anything. You can look up a lot of information there. It's all in one spot. No, but actually, it really does help with anxiety. It's through what we call the endocannabinoid system. Endo meaning inside us. CBD is a phytocannabinoid, meaning from plant, but we produce our own anyway. So when you eat it, say for anxiety, I have a great tincture. It takes a little while. It has to go through the digestive system. It gets through the stomach, then through the liver, and then it's in the bloodstream, and it goes all over. And it fits like a lock and key into the membranes of nerve cells, which is where the endocannabinoid system resides. So when you take CBD, it fits into those nerve cells. It triggers it. It goes, we recognize this. We're going to chill out. If you have pain, it's like we're going to lower the pain. We're going to lower the pain response. If you have inflammation, it helps reduce it. So it works wonderfully for all those things. It's kind of adaptive in terms of like we make it anyway. And when you take it for a specific thing, whether if you say you take an edible for either pain or inflammation or anxiety, it utilizes it for what you need, which is remarkable. And I don't exactly know how that happens, but that's the magic of our bodies. So yes, it 1000% helps with anxiety for us and for animals with no side effects.
So as part of your coaching, we tend to, I tend to think in terms of a toolbox, and we open up our toolbox and we got different tools that we can use. Do you have or I should say, what other tools do you pull from when someone needs your help?
Yeah, so CBD is absolutely one of the tools if someone is open to taking it. Some people are absolutely not, and that's okay. It's their body. But that's exactly how I look at it. I approach it from a mind, body, spirit approach. When we take just a pharmaceutical, and I've taken Xanax for anxiety, and I loved it. Very effective. And guess what? It's super toxic and super addictive, and you can't take it forever. It's meant to be used for 30 days. And I know people on Xanax for decades. And especially now with what happened with the opioid crisis, doctors don't even prescribe it anymore. And they really don't have a better backup. So I actually was cut off, even though I had my Xanax, and I had the lowest dose, and I would break a pill in half, and I would use it, sort of break glass in case of emergency, only in like, if I was having a panic attack, if my body was taking over. And I think I had one bottle of 30 per year. And my doctor said, I'm not going to give this to you anymore. I said, I don't really use it that often, but I'd like to know that I have it. And she's like, no, it's too addictive. I'm like, then why did you prescribe it to begin with? And they don't have anything else. So I had to go and seek out my own tools. And like I said, mind, body, spirit approach. So when you're having all of this stress and anxiety, your body is reacting to your environment as if it's going to die. And then that's how we evolved. And it does save us, right? I've been in circumstances where I was under threat and my body took over and got me to safety. However, if you're having this every day because of traffic or your mother-in-law or bills or the world at large or COVID and et cetera, social media, I could go on and on. You're raising your baseline of stress. And we want to be able to be, this goes into polyvagal theory, which I'm really excited about, but we want to be able to, it's not that we always want to be calm and chill. That's not the point. We're humans. But when we go into a stressful state, we want to be able to come back down and have our baseline in a calm place so that we can be healthy, because stress and anxiety really do affect our bodies. If you ask doctors, they always say for degenerative disease, the number one cause is first stress. And there's many reasons for why that is. But the toolbox that I use is basically, first and foremost, is to list out all of the things that are stressing you out. You cannot fix anything if you don't bring light to it. That's number one. Number two is I always say, look at your diet and your supplements. If you don't have enough magnesium or B vitamins in your diet, your nervous system is not going to function optimally. It's going to be struggling. It's like if you are trying to run a car without enough oil. So that's another thing that I coach people on.
So magnesium and B vitamins. So what are some of the foods? I'm sure there's supplements, but are there certain foods that are just very good sources of those vitamins?
There's so many of them incorporate a little bit here, a little bit there. That's why I do tell people to go to supplementation, because that way you're getting it. Many of the foods nowadays are depleted from the nutrition that we need. So,
I get that's a whole other topic about how nutritious foods were in the 1950s. They were very seasonal.
Yes.
It took longer to grow.
Yes.
But it gave the plant more time to absorb the nutrients from the soil. And now we've got plants coming in, vegetables coming in 365 days a year. Mm-hmm. They're rushed through.
And they're underripe.
Their growing process, so they look wonderful. Mm-hmm. Look tender and juicy and everything. They didn't have time to absorb the normal nutrients.
And the soil is depleted too. So if you're growing something and you're not doing...
Whole other topic.
Yeah.
Whole other topic, but it sounds like you're saying people need to look at their nutrition.
Absolutely.
Is a major part of your toolbox.
Yeah, because there's not one thing, and that's where I differ what I think from my own personal experience. Like, Xanax was great, and it was toxic, and they took it away. Okay, so now what? Well, there's not one thing that's going to fix you, because there's not one thing that caused this. The nervous system and how we respond to our environment is very beautiful and very complicated. So there's not just one thing like a pill that's going to fix it. If you are really serious about feeling better, basically about taking back control of your body and your life, because when you're really, really stressed, you're going to snap at your husband or your wife or your partner. You might be, frustrated with the dog. You might be, irritable with your kids. You're not going to perform as well as work, and you're going to feel like crap. You're going to sleep badly. It goes on and on and on. It affects everything. So if you're honest with yourself, if you are experiencing high stress, chronic stress, and anxiety, gosh, it affects your life in so many ways. And it's many little steps that I guide people through a course that I call Serenity School. And it's learning all of these tools so that you can take your power back. So first thing is list your anxiety and your stress triggers. Next is what are you eating? What are you supplementing? Are you drinking too much coffee? Are you drinking too much alcohol? All of these things contribute. The next is how much are you moving versus how much are you being still? Are you exercising at all? Are you doing too much stimulating exercise? If you're only doing cardio and you're never doing something that calms the nervous system down, like yoga, like walking, like Tai Chi, there's different times for different types of exercise. And if your nervous system is dysregulated and you're only doing what we in America like to do is just go harder, bigger, faster, P90X and cardio and all of that, it could stress you out even more. So sometimes you have to do less.
Yeah, I've had some people say, exercise, it just work that stress out. And I can say from my personal experience, I haven't personally found exercise to be something that works the stress out. Maybe I was going too fast or too hard, but it sounds like it's more complicated than that, isn't it? Based on what you're saying.
Very much so. In fact, I had burnout last spring. And I realized, I thought, oh gosh, I need to slow my body down. I was doing, power yoga and cardio and weights. And I was like, no. I need to slow it down. There's one thing, there's exercise to look your best. There's one thing. And then there's exercise just to feel good and be healthy. That's a whole other.
Right.
And sometimes that means being gentle with yourself. Sometimes that means slowing down. So it's very individual.
And then you mentioned yoga, Tai Chi. I mean, there's a lot of different disciplines. And so it sounds like a person needs to find the right one or the right combination. Okay.
A sense of play. When we are stressed out, we don't give time to play, to actually enjoy our lives, to do something just for fun. Just for the strict enjoyment of it. And that's why I love going to Europe, and I love Europeans. They master this so much more than we do. They just enjoy themselves. We're always about starting a side hustle, doing a podcast, writing a book, leaving your mark. Like, we're just go, 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 go. When was the last time, David, you did something just for play?
I'm actually pretty good at that.
Good. Excellent.
My wife and I, we love to travel.
Yeah.
Now, this is a topic that could make some people stress out. Idea of going on an airplane, doing international travel, and dealing with customs and all that. For us, it's almost relaxing.
No, I
just
fully
the
agree.
Adventure.
Yeah, my husband and I love to
travel. So
travel.
for us, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, travel, it's relaxing, it's fun, it's a new adventure. Other people, totally different story. So what you're saying is people need to find what they enjoy doing just for the purpose of play.
And I'll swing back to my when you asked me about acting. If you're stuck, if you're not sure, it's whatever you enjoy in the present moment. So I also love travel. I just went to Mexico. My husband and I went to Thailand. Like, we just love it. And I thought about it. I was like, what is it about it? Because yes, you're right. Travel does stress other people out. For me, it's when I'm in a new place, I am super present because I don't know where I'm going. I'm eating new foods. I don't understand the language. And I'm in the moment. I'm present. That is the whole purpose of my program of Serenity School, is to be able to be present. Because if you're anxious, you're fearing the future. You're thinking too far ahead. And if you're depressed, you're regretting the past. The point of power and the point of pleasure and joy and happiness in our lives is in the present moment. But if we're fearing the future and regretting the past, so you're never going to be present. And if you're miserable in the present, if you're in a house you don't like, if you're in a marriage you don't like, if you're in a job you don't like, you're also going to not want to be in the present. So the point of play, find something that you enjoy in the present moment. It could be coloring, it could be drawing, it could be singing, it could be acting. For me, I loved acting because when I was on stage, I was present.
So, I really like the direction that you're going with this. It's interesting what you had mentioned about doctors encouraging people to get off certain medication. To me, that's a huge red flag. So if the doctors are saying, yeah, you need to get off that, I can say from personal experience, it was a totally different prescription that I was on. And I had a brand new doctor, and I just met with her for the first time. And she goes, "Why are you taking this?" And I said, "Well, I'm, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Oh, we got to get you off that." I was like, "Well, okay, it's supposed to be good." And I honestly had never read the instructions that detailed. And it said to be used no more than 2 weeks. And I had been using it for longer than that. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But it took this particular doctor just said, no, you need to get off that. So that was a red flag. Yeah. And so now you're explaining, some similar situations with doctors saying, yeah, this, you call it an opioid. I'm having trouble pronouncing it, but some of these drugs that people take for their anxiety, obviously the medical industry sees some major problems with that.
Yeah, well, so first let me preface it with this. I don't blame them. That's how they were trained. Western medicine doctors were trained to either prescribe a pill or surgically remove. If you're looking at physical therapy, right. Yes, they have physical therapy, but they don't look at mind-body connection. They're starting to, which is what includes stress and anxiety. They're starting. They don't look at how the body heals itself, and how they do. So when you break a bone, unless it's a multiple breaks and really bad, they usually set it and they let your body heal, and your body heals it. But for the most part, they don't do that. They want to take a statistical population of this is how they were trained in med school, that has X diagnosis. And if you have X diagnosis, well, this is medically, this is what's been proven to work. We're either going to cut, we're going to give you a pill. And that's it. And send you out the door. Well, the problem that I have with that is big pharma is horrible. And we saw this with Purdue. We saw this with the opioid crisis. They're just out for money. They make a lot of it. They don't want to kill us. They just want us to all be sick, so we're all on their medications. They have beautiful commercials that I used to audition for. And trust me, I had problems with this. They pay a lot for when you're an actor in a pharmaceutical. You make a lot of money. Beautiful people running through meadows and fields and playing tennis, and that's not how if you read the side effects, the potential side effects, or even hear them now in commercials where they read them off. You've heard those commercials where possible side effects may include death, suicidal ideation, blah, 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 blah. I don't blame them. It's how they were trained. And yes, sometimes they do get you to a point, medications will get you to a point of feeling better or being better with whatever you're feeling. I truly believe our mind has a lot to do with what happens into our body. The the nature versus nurture debate, which is when I was in college, was, it's very much nature. It's very much in your genes. If you have the gene for XYZ, you're probably going to get it. If your mom had it, you're probably going to get it. That's your potential. That's not your destiny. And I have seen it in myself. I've been told, well, with the back pain that I had from a teenager, it was bad. I went from being an athlete to not being able to get up out of a chair by myself. I was in so much pain. I went to the doctor. He gave me Advil. I went to a chiropractor, it was a muscle and soft tissue injury, but I was in agony. And this is what led me to be a massage therapist. So I was in agony. I finally, 6 months later, I had sciatica. I was in bed all the time. I finally went to an acupuncturist, which this was in the late 90s. It was very not super well known. So she had a massage therapist. Those two modalities together healed me in a month, where the doctor couldn't help me. And I just needed a massage. I needed someone who knew what they were doing. And I needed acupuncture, which innervated the nerves and let my body reset back to normal. I just had a muscle spasm, but no one could help me, and I had to help myself. And so that was the pinnacle point for me. It was like, oh, yeah, my mom's right. They don't know everything. So this is how they're trained, and it's an industry. It's a very profitable industry. And for me, my family, anyone I'm friends with who will tell you, anytime they're dealing with a health thing, I'm like, oh, let's look it up. Let's see what we can do. Because I like to take control of my own health. For anxiety, Xanax is a benzodiazepine, as is Valium, Ativan. They're all very effective. And they're not meant to be used more than a few weeks to a month. And so then what? Then what? And then they love to diagnose this. Well, you have an anxiety disorder. When your nervous system in your body is just telling you something is wrong. Something is wrong. I am overloaded. I am overwhelmed. I was
going to say, if someone wants to take charge of their anxiety, what is the best way that they can reach you if they have questions or if they need help?
They can find me on my website, SuzyHardy.com. They can sign up for my newsletter immediately. You're going to get a video tutorial of my number one tool that I teach people. It is super easy, super fast, and very effective for calming the body down. So in my program, we do a lot of somatic release and balancing techniques to give you power over your own body. Because before, if you were on medications, before if it was a pill, now you're going to learn different tools and techniques that when you are freaking out, whether it be a little bit of worry, a full-blown panic attack, that you can just relax your system down so that you can think more clearly, so that you can have control over your body. And you can email me as well and find me on my website.
Well, and anyone who is interested, so Suzy, we're going to have your contact information in the program notes on YouTube or on the podcast service that you are using. But I do appreciate the messaging that you have, especially, you know, to try to get people off some of these prescription medications, or if they're literally just being taken off, just ripping that away, that's also concerning. Mm-hmm. But it's good to know that, to use the term we've been using, there is a toolbox out there that has other options. It sounds like it's a matter of finding the right tool or combination of tools, and you've made it your role to help people with that.
Yeah, because I don't want people to suffer. I've suffered for a long time, but I also believe that there is benefit to me having gone through that, because now I have power and control over my own sometimes dysregulated nervous system, and I don't freak out. I understand that this is my body, this is the way we evolved to survive, and now we just live in a different environment where there's just many more micro stressors that it's constantly perceiving. Your body wants to keep you alive. Your body wants to keep you alive at all costs, and it's constantly looking for threats. And so if you don't get a chance to rest, reset, play, calm your system down, you're not going to live a very happy and healthy life. So I don't want people to suffer like I did, and that's why I share what I've learned with the world.
Well, Suzy, thank you very much for sharing with our audience here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, lots of very interesting information. Thank you very much for watching the show. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. If you have any feedback, please let us know. And don't forget to press the subscribe button. Press subscribe and the notification, and that will notify you when we upload new episodes, and it also helps the show. All right. Well, that does it for this week. I am David Maloof, exploring natural approaches to good health. That does it for this episode of Adventures in Good Health. We would like to hear from you regarding this podcast and any suggestions you have for future podcasts. You can reach us at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please subscribe and leave a rating or a review.